Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be a full face of Drugstore. I did one of these videos about a year ago and it did so well on my channel. I always get asked about like drugstore recommendations or my favorite drugstore products. You guys seem to want a lot of drugstore content and I totally get it. Like drugstore is so affordable and it's so good finding a good drugstore product because you're like, wow, this is amazing and it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg. So I don't know why it's taken me over a year to do another drugstore video, but my plan is to do them more frequently from now on. I guess I just get stuck in my ways because I get so much PR from like Mecca and Sephora, and majority of my makeup collection are brands from like Mecca and Sephora, which you wouldn't really consider drugstore. So it's not often that I have enough products to do a full face of drugstore, but I do right now and I'm very excited to dig in and just have a play with some makeup. Some of this stuff is very new to me, so a lot of it will be like a first impression, and then other stuff is just stuff that I've had in my collection that I haven't used in a while or I don't really remember how it performed or anything like that. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump straight into the video. I am under the pump today. I leave for New York City tomorrow, so I'm trying to pre-film a bunch of videos today so that I can edit on the plane. So yeah, I gotta get my booty into gear. Well, first things first, I just realized how untidy my eyebrows are, so I'm just gonna give them a little pluck with my dirty ass tweezers. I need to get a new pair of tweezers. These are the same ones that I use to apply false lashes, and they have lash glue all over them. So hygienic. Oh my god, this always makes me need to sneeze. It's not coming out. All right, that'll do. They've gone a little bit blotchy and red, but that will go down. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with primer. I really need like a hydrating primer today because I feel like my skin, it's been so hot in Brisbane lately, so we've been sleeping with the fan on, but I feel like it just really dries out my skin. So the only primer that I've really got that's like a hydrating primer is the Maybelline Master Prime. I think I use this. I've used this in other videos. I know I have. It's one of my favorite drugstore primers. I'm just going to apply that all over. Oh, it's so hydrating. Literally straight away, I'm just like, my skin needed that. Wow. All right, so for foundation today, I've actually got this Flower Beauty Light Infusion foundation. I don't know why I blanked just then. This is Drew Barrymore's brand and it's stocked in, well, I got this from Chemist Warehouse. They had like a massive sale on a couple of weeks ago, so I stocked up on a couple of Flower Beauty products because I haven't tried any of them before, but I've heard good things. So I'm going to test this out today. I think it might be a little bit too dark for me, but we're just going to make it work because I want to try it on camera for you guys. So it says that it's all day wear, broad spectrum SPF 18 sunscreen, which is interesting. I like a foundation that has SPF in it. It doesn't really say much else other than luminous makeup, nude skin feel. It's not coming out. There's heaps of air in the pump. Oh dear. Oh my god, this is going to be way too dark for me. Far up. Here we go. Look at that color difference. Oh shit. I really should have waited until I had like fake tan on. I'm using the Morphe blending sponge to blend it into my skin. I freaking love this sponge. I don't know, do you consider Morphe drugstore? I feel like over in the US, you guys might consider Morphe drugstore, but here in Australia, it is stocked in Mecca, which is typically not a drugstore makeup place. Like they stock a whole bunch of brands like Too Faced, Urban Decay, YSL, like they are not drugstore, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on Morphe? Would you still consider it drugstore because of the pricing and like the quantity that you get for the price that you pay? Let me know because I wanted to include a bunch of Morphe products in this video, but I can't figure out whether it classifies as drugstore. Well, straight off the bat, I absolutely love how it looks on my skin. Like it is super radiant and super glowy, and it looks really natural too. I look oily, like shiny. So it's definitely luminous. I'm just going to blend it down my neck so that I don't look like the peanut butter baby. And then I'll be back and we can move on to concealer. All right, now that we match a little bit better, I'm gonna move on to concealer. I actually have two Drugstore concealers here, but I have a feeling this Makeup Revolution one is going to be way too light for me today. It's the shade C2 and it is extremely light. And then I've got this Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Under Eye Concealer, which I think is probably a better match. So I wanted to try this out because I've heard really good things about the Makeup Revolution one, but I just don't think it's gonna work for today's video. So I'm gonna stick with this new Maybelline Superstay. I actually received this in a package not that long ago, so I know that this is very new to the shelves here in Australia. I actually don't know if it's out yet or not, so I'll leave like more information down below once I find out. Okay, yeah, this color's gonna be a lot better than the other one. So this is supposed to be full coverage, and as you guys know, if you've watched any of my other Drugstore videos, I am a huge fan of Maybelline products. I think they're probably one of my favorite Drugstore brands, and I've always loved the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. So when I saw that they were launching this, I was super excited. Oh, that color's good. That is a really nice concealer. Most full coverage concealers are quite dry and they crease under your eyes. I mean, I've obviously only had this one on for like 30 seconds, but straight away I can tell that it's a lot more hydrating than most other full coverage concealers, and the coverage is pretty good. Like, that looks pretty damn flawless. The foundation, by the way, says that it's like a natural nude skin feel. Definitely is. In terms of coverage, I'd say it's about like medium coverage. I forgot to mention that before, but yeah, I definitely say that the foundation's medium coverage. And the concealer, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like full coverage, but I don't really love that look anymore, so I don't mind that it's like more of a medium to full, and it feels very hydrating, which is amazing. I actually really like how my skin looks right now. It's so glowy. The concealer has patched up a little bit on like a dry spot on my eyelid up here, because I obviously applied it to my lids just to prime for later. And yeah, on this eye only, like just up here, it's just started getting a little bit patchy, which is strange, but we'll see how that goes once I set it down and stuff. Alrighty, now to set my under eyes, I've got this Makeup Revolution Bake and Blot Powder. This one's in the shade Lace. It's quite light, but I think it might be okay for my under eyes, hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm not going to bake, I'm just going to lightly apply it with a brush, just because I don't love how baking looks under my eyes. I just think it cakes them up and makes them look dry and gross. So I think I'm gonna take my Sigma tapered highlighter brush. This is what I usually use under my eyes, and I'll just apply it lightly. It doesn't look too bad. Can you guys see the difference? So this is the side with powder and this is without. I feel like it's just added a little bit more coverage, like the slightest amount. It's kind of put like a smooth little layer over the top. I do feel like if I was to bake with this powder, my under eyes would look super dry. I think I like it. It's really hard to tell at the moment. It has set them really nicely. It's just a little bit dry. So I wouldn't really use this to properly bake. Like I said before, I'm not into that anymore. But I think it's done a pretty good job. It does kind of add like a bit of a smoothing filter, which is kind of nice. I guess I'll see how it kind of like settles and give you guys an update right at the end. To set the rest of my face, I'm gonna go in with this Flower Beauty Satin finishing powder. This is the Miracle Glow. I have used this once before in another video. It's kind of hard to tell how setting powders go. I feel like you really need to give them like a day's worth of use. So I'm excited to try this out again. I kind of hate the packaging. Actually, I really hate the packaging. I don't know why they've made it so bulky. Like the actual powder section is just this, but that's the lid. Like it's just so bulky. All right, so this one's a loose powder. So I'm just using the same brush and just lightly brushing it over my skin. I feel like I'm just gradually getting darker and darker, like that foundation is oxidizing. I don't know. I was told a couple of weeks ago that oxidizing isn't a thing, like that doesn't actually happen in foundations. But I feel like I've just like looked in the mirror and all of a sudden am like 3 shades darker than I was when I first put the foundation on. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Luckily, I blended it all down my neck, so it doesn't really matter. But I definitely feel like it just keeps getting darker and darker. All right, so my face, like my skin, the foundation and everything looks freaking flawless. I don't have a pore in sight. My under eyes in the last like 2 minutes have just gotten super cakey. So I don't know if it's the powder over the top or I don't know what's going on, but it is starting to kind of cling into the creases under my eyes. That happens a lot for me, so I'm honestly not too stressed about that. But yeah, this foundation, holy moly, it is stunning. I can't get over how flawless it is, so pretty impressed so far. All right, so for brows today, I'm going to use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. This is so good. I actually always forget that I have this, but I discovered this like a few years ago and it is amazing. The tip is so fine. It's pretty much a dupe for Benefit Precisely My Brow. Like it's a really fine tip, super easy to draw on like hair-like strokes. I love it. So that's what I'm gonna use today. I basically just like to fill in my brows a little bit because I obviously have them microbladed. So I don't do too much to them, to be honest. So super exciting, but like I mentioned in the start of this video, I am off to New York tomorrow, which is so crazy. It's a super last minute brand trip, which is just like, whoa, it's insane to me. Like the fact that I get these kinds of opportunities thanks to you guys and your support and stuff, I don't think I could ever get used to it. I've never been to New York. It's always been on the top of my bucket list. So I literally just, yeah, I can't even believe it. I'm so excited. And then I get back from New York and a week and a half later, I leave for Bali. So things are a bit crazy. I'm trying to film 3 videos today so that I've got content to go up over the next like week and a half. And then when I get back from New York, I'm going to try and pre-film a bunch of stuff so that I've got content to go up while I'm in Bali. But yeah, super exciting, crazy times ahead. So I literally fly out this afternoon to Sydney because that's where we're flying from to New York. So I leave at 4 o'clock this afternoon to go to Sydney and then stay in Sydney overnight and then head to New York tomorrow. So crazy. All right, I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper. This is just a clear brow gel, helps to like plump up the brows a little bit. Add some volume to the hair, which I really need. That is a department that I struggle in. All right, now moving on to eyes, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline The Matte Bar Palette. This is brand new to me. I haven't used this before and I'm still trying to get the freaking seal off. So I don't know what kind of look I'm gonna do. Typical me, I never have a plan when I'm coming into these videos. But it's kind of cute. It's got some really wearable colors in it. Let's just wing it. I've got a couple of other drugstore palettes here that I can kind of like switch between, but for now I'm going to try and just stick to the matte bar palette. All right, so I think I'm going to take this light muted brown kind of shade here and blend that through my crease. Maybelline eyeshadows are a bit of a funny one. I've had palettes from Maybelline that I've loved that have worked really well. And then I've had others where I just can't make them work and like the payoff is really bad and it's just been a bit all over the place. So I never really know what to expect from Maybelline eyeshadows. Oh my god, my eyelids are super dry. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's just like super patchy and really dry. And I feel like as I'm blending this, it's just getting worse and worse. I can't back down now. I've already started. I'm just gonna roll with it. That is a really nice transition color. I've had to put about like 4 or 5 different layers on it to build it up. I actually don't mind that you have to build it up a bit. I find those kinds of shadows a lot easier to work with than something that's super like high impact from the get-go. The fact that you can build it up, you've got a bit more control. So I don't mind that at all. The other thing with this palette, because of the way that they've like put the bars of eyeshadow, it's kind of hard to get your brush just in that one color, like especially a big fluffy brush like this. I'm finding myself like I have to be really careful that I don't accidentally dip into the colors on the top or the bottom. So I don't love this design, like the way that they've laid the palette out, but again, like it's whatever. It doesn't really matter that much, but I just thought it was something to note. All right, next up, I think I'm gonna go in with this shade right next to it, which is kind of like a burnt orangey red color. I don't really know how to describe that, but I'm gonna take it on my Morphe M433 brush. Oh wow, this one looks kind of pigmented. Like, look at that on my brush. That's just with like one light sweep through the palette. So this one could be interesting. But yeah, I'm just going to blend this a bit more tightly into my crease. Okay, it's the same kind of pigment as the brown. It just looked a bit more full on the brush. It's building up pretty nicely though. I'm just gonna keep going back in with my big fluffy brush that I used for that transition color and just blend out the edges. Those colors are blending together pretty well. They require like a little bit more work, but with a little bit of patience, they are blending. All right, next up, I'm gonna go in with this burgundy shade here, and I'm gonna pack that on the outer corner and kind of blend it into the outer third of my crease. And I'm just picking that up on a Sigma Small Tapered Blending E45 brush. Okay. This one has way more pigment. Holy moly. Let's freaking hope that this blends out. Oh my God. All right, yep. Whew, it's blending. Thank the Lord for that. Wow, that is impressive. Like I was not expecting that. The other thing I should mention is that I've barely had any fallout. And I've been like really packing these colors on to try and get the most out of them. And I haven't had any fallout, which is really nice. The other thing is that considering my eyelids are so dry and patchy, these shadows are doing really well over that. Like I've not given them the best base to work on, but they are like surprisingly working really, really well. All right, now for like the inner third of my eyelid, the inner 2/3, I guess you could say, I'm gonna take this beigey cream color here and apply that with a shader brush. All right, this color's going over like the driest part on my eyelid and it's not going too well. Like I said, I haven't given it the best base to go on. It does feel like this shadow's a little bit drier than the rest of the palette though. Like as I'm applying it, it is a bit more like crumbly. I think I'm just gonna leave it at that and I'm gonna go in to my Rimmel Magnifies Crimson Edition palette and just take this really pretty champagne-y shimmer color. It's honestly gorgeous. It's one of my favorite shades in this palette and just place that on my eyelid instead. Hopefully the little bit of shimmer will kind of reflect the dryness of my eyelid away. So I'm just putting a little bit of that champagne-y color on my brow bone as well, and also on my inner corner, just to give that a little bit of a pop too. So for mascara, I'm going to use the Ardell Faux Mink Multi-Layering Mascara. I actually really, really, really like this mascara. I used it a bunch before I got my lash extensions put on, and it is incredible. Obviously today, I'm only going to use it on my lower lashes, so I feel like you guys aren't going to get like the full effect from it, but just know that it is pretty damn amazing. I don't know how I've managed to like get it all over my hand already, but whatever. I feel like you can actually tell just on my lower lashes. It's so black and it doesn't clump or anything. Like it's just, I don't know, the wand brushes through the lashes so well. I really, really like this one. I need to go clean off my hands. I've got freaking makeup everywhere, so be right back. All right, so now moving on to bronzer. I'm gonna go in with my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I've recently rediscovered this and rekindled my love for it. It is just freaking gorgeous and it smells amazing. It's such a good drugstore bronzer. I feel like bronzer is really when like the whole face starts coming alive again. Just adds like more shape and a bit of color. Up until bronzer, you look a bit flat. So just pulls it all together so nicely. All right, and for blush, I'm gonna go in with the Physicians Formula Butter Blush. This is in the shade Plum Rose. I feel like I've used this before, but I don't remember my thoughts on it. It looks like it's a pretty natural blush, and I usually go for something that's a bit more peachy. We'll see how this goes. All right, so it's very natural and it's a bit of like a grayish pink, which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't love it. So what I'm going to do is put that away and I'm just going to layer a little bit of this Maybelline Fit Me blush over the top. This one's the shade 25, Pink Rose. There we go. So I'm just going to layer this over the top for a little bit more color. There we go. That's more my style of blush now. Alrighty, and now for highlighter, I've got this L'Oreal La Vienne Glow palette. I'm pretty sure I have used this once before, but it was a very, very long time ago, so I can't honestly remember my thoughts on it. So I think I'm going to take a mixture of these two shades here. It's kind of like a light gold and then a champagne-y color, and mix them and see how they go. Oh, they are super pretty. I think that's why I love doing videos like this, because it forces me to use products in my collection that I kind of forget about. That's so pretty. I really like those two shades mixed together as well. That's a huge yes from me. I'm really hoping that this is still available and that it wasn't like a limited edition thing, because this is amazing and I want you guys to be able to get it if you want to. So I'll leave a link down below, and hopefully it's not like discontinued or anything, because yeah, that is really nice. I really, really like that. Okay, so unfortunately I am not spoilt for options when it comes to drugstore lip products. I don't have a lot of them. I actually did a massive declutter of my makeup collection about 2 months ago, and I had to throw out a lot of the drugstore lip products that I had because I'd had them for years, like they were all expired. So the one that I do have left is this Maybelline Daringly Nude Matte Lipstick, and I actually haven't used it before. It is brand new and the color is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm excited to try it out. Oh, the color's really pretty. It's like a Your Lips But Better color, like a perfect everyday natural nude lipstick. And for a matte lipstick, it's quite hydrating. Doesn't feel dry on my lips at all. That might become my new like everyday lip color. I've had that in my drawers for so long and I've never used it. Now I've discovered it. Lucky me. All right, and one last step is to just set my face in place. So the only drugstore setting spray that I've got right now is the Makeup Revolution Sport Fix Extra Hold Makeup Fixing Spray. I think I've used this in a video recently where I tested out a whole bunch of new products. So I'm just gonna use it again today and hopefully it helps my makeup stay in place for all the filming that I have to do. It's got a very intense spray on it. Like a lot of the product comes out. It smells a bit funky. It smells like a chlorine pool. I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about it because I kind of have to put it to the test throughout the day to give you guys a review. But anyways, that brings us to the end of this video. I am very pleasantly surprised with how a lot of these products performed, especially this palette. I was not expecting this kind of result from it. Like I said, I did have to put in a bit of extra work with like the blending and building up the product, but for a drugstore palette, and particularly a Maybelline palette, I am very, very impressed. The foundation I also really like. It looks extremely flawless on my skin. Like I said earlier, my pores are basically non-existent and that hasn't really changed throughout the course of this video. Like it still looks really, really good. This is amazing, and the fact that it's got SPF in it, like that's just so much better as well. But yeah, they are basically my final thoughts. I am very, very happy with how this look turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Let me know if you want to see more drugstore videos in the comments down below. If there's any drugstore products in particular, whether it's foundations, eyeshadow palettes, whatever it is, if you'd like to see me review them or feature them on my channel, please let me know. But yeah, as always, all of the products that I used in today's video will be listed down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well if you are new here, become a part of the family. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Nearly gave you a heart attack. Thought I told you to watch your back. Never know what to expect down here. That's the only solid fact. Guess I'd rather be on vacation. Guess I haven't got the education. I don't really have an explanation.